Monsieur le gouverneur. Mesdames et messieurs,
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm very happy to welcome you to this second day of the first editions of Cup of Cities. Yesterday day was insightful and longer, but today will also be insightful and then short. We're going to have the first round table on water as threat and water as resources. We also have the second initiative for the protections of forests and biodiversity. Then after we're going to have the closing ceremony. So and then after the lunch we will ask you to use the bus to go for to go to the Forêt du Banco Forest. So I will just give before we start the first round table. I suggest that we watch a video of the Vice President of Climate, Melanie, who's going to start at help us start the day before we start the round table. Honorable Governor of Abidjan, Mr. President of AIMF, ladies and gentlemen, mayors, dear guests, all protocol observed. It's my honor to take the floor on behalf of Climate Mali at this occasion, which is gathering us, which is about fighting against climate change. We know that climate change are real. Knowing, meanwhile, this issue has been left behind for somebody, and it's known for others. But knowing this problem has to be solved, and we have to react now to have a good result because each of us has his reign to play. So at Climate Mali, the associations of young activists, we are committed in that fight, and we are inviting the young people to join us by um, having concrete action to have an eco city. So after many activities carried out on the field, uh, what we've noticed is so serious. It is at the continental level. We notice the reluctance of youth, regarding climate change, and we also have the celebrity. We have waste deposit that are well managed and so on. So it is the high time to draw the attention to all the authorities governing this room. Looking at the situation, we activists of society, civil society, we are deeply committed to work for changing behavior, and that can be achieved through sensitization. And sensitization is a key element before we start any other initiative. We are aware of the fact that many things have been done by our authorities, but their means are limited to solve this crisis. Nevertheless, a lot remains to be done. In such situations, the the government actions are key. That means the elected authority should work in order to take into consideration sustainable development and their achievement actions by developing collaboration framework with young organizations or youth organizations for them to be involved at each level in decision making, talking about climate change. Because if it's true that significant effort has been undertaken with the, the youth, We should know that with a committed youth, we can do better and go further with dynamism and innovation. I would like to commend this initiative of the COP of Cities in Abidjan, and we hope that we've af- at the end of this summit we're gonna have a roadmap in line with our goals. So, and it will be a starting point to for us to have good behavior in environment. Thank you. May this summit be fruitful. Thank you.
J'appelle Théophile Bangars.
Without any further ado, without any transition, I will ask the participant to the panelists to just come to the stage. Théophile, you are the project manager at the platform Ocean Climate. Thank you for having accepted to the floor is over to you. Good day. Welcome our panelists. Welcome to our panelists. It's my honor to moderate this first session on water as resource and as threat. So thank you for all being here uh, for that last day dedicated to the COP of Cities. This is the initiative of the Mayor of Paris, and we thank all the organizers for organizing this summit, this COP. So my name is Theophile Bonga. I work for the platform Ocean Clima, and the platform Ocean Clima has been created right after COP21. The objective was the same as today. It's an international um, um, meeting which is about embed all the stakeholders and for oceans to be known. Talking about climate change, it has to be taken on board. So it's our goal is to see how the cities can organize themselves and get heard in the UN entities. So today we're going to talk about ocean and coastal thing. You know, ocean is impacted by climate change. 90% of the heat is you know, absorbed by ocean, and it's harmful. It's harm to is function, the functions of the ocean. Saying all the coastal cities also impacted. So recently, during the One Ocean Summit in last February, the the question was identified. Declaration was signed by 140 mayor of the cities of the in the world. So like Gramassam, Pobwe, Jankamba, Vancouver, and all those cities and the mayor of those cities agreed to identify um, what's happened on the sea. Their message were clear enough. Today, only the mayor of coastal cities cannot solve the problem. So they are calling for national government, international community working on climate issue. They they engage on the on how today tomorrow cities should adapt and how to find good response in line with equality. So when we're a coastal city, which solution can be put in place? So we're going to talk about that, and after the issue of funding that we talked about yesterday, and we're gonna talk about that today also. So it's our honor to have with us mayors, the mayor of Douala, who is going to attend it next time, and the mayor of Assini, the mayor of The Hague, Mr. Monoro representing Nouvelle-Orléans, representing the city of Paris and Jericho, online. So we decided to talk about the adaptations of coastal cities and also talk about what both they are linked. We saw in Abidjan, coastal city last week. We saw many people that were victim of floods. So this we're going to talk about all those different aspects in its today objective. So we're going to also notice what has happened. And we said science should be the basis of our discussion. So I will invite Mr. Donatus Angura, working for the Center of Excellence at the University of Cape Coastal in Ghana. It's for him to remind us why the coastal cities are threatened and why are they in take into consideration now discussion, and then what are the solution, the sustainable ones for us to uh, to solve the problem.
Thank you so much. Okay. Just to start, I will say all coastal cities need climate change adaptation strategy. Therefore, while the mayors and the government agencies are at that, trying to find this coastal climate change strategy, I will make my presentation following your question. First, all coastal cities, or all cities, need to have an assessment of how vulnerable their cities are. We are aware that all cities are affected by climate change, yes, but you would agree with me that inland cities seem to be less affected compared to the coastal cities. And why am I saying this? First, you will notice that coastal cities are very close to the ocean, and by their proximity to the ocean, they are at higher risk with a little rise in water levels. The second reason is that coastal cities are largely low-lying in terms of elevation with respect to the mean sea level. So once they are low-lying and we have a climate change or any extreme event, this is likely to affect all the coastal cities extremely compared to those more inland. The third one, which we are all aware that has been discussed maybe yesterday, is that coastal cities are largely inhabited. They are the cities that have all our industries. They are the cities that have the largest population. Therefore, the influence or our actions that we take at the coastal areas are likely to cause more hazard than those inland. So for us to build our strategy, we need information, particularly in the African context, on the number of events in terms of maybe flooding. We need to have pure or good data on this kind of information. We also need to have early warning systems. I know that in developed cities or in developed countries, this information may be there. But when you come to the African context or African region, we lack a lot of data. We lack a lot of information in terms of what will happen, who will be affected, and where will be affected exactly. When you look at developed countries like the US, all the cities, they know, okay, in the history, we have this number of floods. Every year, this is the number of floods we experience, and this is the extent. When you come to maybe Ghana or Ivory Coast, we may have just information for the bigger cities like Abidjan. But when you move in, to the villages, those that are also located on the coastal area, this information is missing. The second thing that I would like to talk about is constraining or providing sea level rise strategy. And this, I'll go more on the engineering aspect. You know, for us to be able to handle this climate change issue, we must now start factoring in sea level in everything that we do. For instance, if you are developing a structure along the coast or on the sea, you need to factor in the rates. And as we know, these rates are likely to escalate in the next 30 years. So I entreat mayors to always ask their engineers, did you factor in sea level rise? Did you factor in the rate before you design this building or this plan? Also, when we want to exploit resources, we must look at what will happen. Of late, we have a lot of development going on in Africa because we are developing quickly. So we have the tendency to destroy, to cut down a lot of trees so that we can build, particularly along the coastal area. Therefore, we must have another strategy to put in back what we have cut down. The third thing that I want to talk about is the solutions that we provide. Climate change is considered as a crisis. And cities have the tendency to provide ad hoc solutions. I use ad hoc because this crisis, people want to have solutions quickly. What I will suggest is that in terms of these solutions, we have to consider partnership. We have a situation in terms of, let's say, coastal management. If you look along on Google, on all the coastal areas in Africa, where we have erosion, you will realize that there are some interventions that are being put. If you look at some of these interventions seriously, for example, taking a groin, where perpendicular boulders are placed to control erosion, this type of intervention is good for the person who is doing it, but it has adverse effect on the neighboring communities. Therefore, I would entreat that solutions that we provide should always consider the adjacent cities or the neighboring cities. And that is why I'm very happy that this program was not only organized in Paris, but brought everybody here. So it's an example that we must follow to show that we need to work in partnership to handle this climate change situation. And one good solution that we have to also adapt, which has also been was hinted yesterday, is the kind of intervention we use. Previously, we used to have this all-in-gray infrastructure. And this has even economic effect on us. Right now, the best solution or the good solution we can practice is to adopt this nature-based solution. For example, if you revegetate your area, revegetate the coastline, you are going to have your natural environment building, and you can still have some tourist or economic activity going on. So the kind of solution we use when we have a climate change event or flooding, we have to consider mostly the nature-based solution, or we can mix the solutions. Because we have realized that going for all-in-gray infrastructure destroys our environment. For example, if you build a flat wall or a dike, it will protect your area, but it will also prevent you from using beaches.